Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. Our mission at City Current is to power the good, and we do that through positive media, events, and philanthropy. This show features interviews with a mix of business and community leaders who discuss important efforts, trends, lessons learned, and ways to get involved so we can learn more about our community and work together to make a difference. Now, on to the show. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love having our City Current partners come on sharing their expertise. And in this case, we're talking about branding, marketing, culture, so much more. We're honored to have with us Eric Jackson. He is the founder and CEO of Element 47. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's always great to be with you, Jeremy.
Well, you've been tremendous help as a partner, as an advocate, tying in and helping us with City Current in so many different ways. And so your world is marketing, branding, culture, so much to unpack. But let's start. Give people a little background on Element 47, and then we're going to dive heavy into branding and culture. So give us some background on Element 47.
Yeah, so I've been in the marketing and communications space for more years than I care to count, 30 plus, I would say. And I've had other businesses in the past that were successful. And Element 47 emerged after my former partner and I decided to split. We were basically in two totally different industries. And I guess the thing, reflecting back, we just had our 5-year anniversary in September, is that it really helped me focus our core purpose as a company, not just the work that we do, but the value that we bring to the world and the value that it brings to the people that work for us. And that has really bubbled up for me in the last few weeks. I'm just so thankful for the people that I've gotten the pleasure of working with and the clients that we've been able to help. And as I began to reflect about what our conversation would be like today, those things don't happen accidentally. And I'm fortunate to have had both experiences and mentors over the years that really helped form what Element 47's culture would be and what it is today. And so I also want to give a shout out to my team, because as we know, it's not just the leader, it's the team that really makes things happen. And we've got great people, we've got some great alumni, and I'm thankful for the journey that we've been on, and hopefully it will continue for many more years.
Absolutely. Well, you do have an incredible team, and we've worked, in partnership with them. And touch on, because you and your team have helped us in so many different ways, everything from the kind of the customer partner journey and storyboarding out and branding. So talk about what you do overall, and then we'll dive into this alignment of culture and branding and strategy.
So when I first meet with any prospect, I acknowledge the elephant in the room, and that is that we're having a conversation because they have some idea of what we can bring to the table for them that will help them grow. And there are typically some other things they're looking to get out of the relationship. But the conversation I like to have is, I understand that that's in your head, and it's our job to pull that out, to collaborate with you, to get all that information on paper, to help you chart out who you are, what you're great at, and where you want to go and what that looks like. Because I know that if I don't do a good job of getting that information written down in a way that we can both agree that this is what we're trying to achieve, then Element 47 is going to get fired. And you're going to get that check on your desk, and you're either going to sign it or you're going to fire us. And so I want to save everybody a bunch of time and trouble and make sure that we're at least acknowledging all of those things at the outset. Because if we do that, and we call it strategy, it's not rocket science, it's really simple. You're paying us to help you do a certain thing, which is typically helping you grow your company. And we would just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. The second thing is really, in order to make that happen, we've got to have difficult conversations. There are going to be things that we understand about branding, marketing, and advertising that our client is not. And so we make every effort to be bold and to just say all the things that we think that a client needs to hear in order to go into this relationship with a clear head, right? And a good vision of what the future looks like. And conversely, we also tell our clients, hey, we understand this is not what you do professionally. There may be times where you either disagree with what our recommendations are or you don't understand them. Please tell us when you are confused or you disagree, because bad news never gets better with age. So the faster that we handle these things, the more abruptly and accurately we can address them and move forward together as a team. Because it really does, when you hire an agency, it takes, or any partner for that matter, you've got to be on the same page and understand what everybody's role is. And so those are, and I tell those stories, those are really two of our core values. So make it better. We're being hired to make it better for our clients. And internally, we're constantly trying to make the organization, the operation at Element 47 better, and then be bold. In order to have good communication, which is the product that we deliver, we have to have difficult conversations. They're not always comfortable, but it's just a necessary part of it. It doesn't mean that they have to be ugly or anything like that. It's just we need to make sure that we're working through any difficulties that we might possibly have. And I think that's, back to what I was talking about during the intro. I think that those two things and the other two core values really help build the team as people, because you're going to encounter those same things in your life. And so the better you are at having tough conversations and making sure that you're on the same page with other people will serve you anywhere.
Absolutely. And when you talk about collaboration, communication, strategy, these are all fundamental pieces, whether it's branding or culture building. And so let's go ahead and dive into those, because those will tie in to Element 47 in terms of how you help. And so when you look at branding, you hear branding is a promise. Branding is the encompassing of all the different touch points. There's a lot of definitions to branding. How do you define branding?
To me, branding is what people say about you and your company when you're not in the room. It's the overall experience that they have. And so many people have the perception that branding is a visual thing, and that is one piece, but really it's the entire experience that someone has with your brand. One of the examples that I use on a regular basis is everybody, I think, has been to McDonald's before. So you understand it's probably going to be a little chaotic. It's not full service. You're going to get your food that's the same everywhere else in the world, and you're going to eat it, and you might feel, hopefully you'll feel okay after you've eaten it. It's not a high-end experience. Now, if you went to Ruth's Chris and you had that same experience, well, you have a certain expectation of what that experience is going to be like. And if you get your steak in a bag and you're paying at a register, that's not going to work, right? So every organization, if they're going to have a successful brand, needs to look at not only their visual branding, what are their processes? How do they speak to customers? What sorts of follow-up and processes are you going to employ? What will follow up? What will the delivery of the product look like? How do you take care of long-term customers? How do you deal with problems? And it even goes to interaction with the team. So, we talk about our core values on a regular basis internally, because that drives how we treat each other, and that is reflected in how our customer, our team treats our people, our clients. And so if you're doing all those things, you have everything well defined, it just makes it easier to manage, hire, fire, all of those things. And all of that comes through in the end. And we've had, we had a very interesting meeting. We were losing a client. They were being acquired by someone else. And they during the meeting they said, okay, time out. What's up with you guys? And so the person in the meeting said, I don't follow. What do you mean? And they said, well, you're losing this piece of business. Why are you guys so nice and responsive? And you're bringing up things that we need to be concerned about. And we said, well, that's just how we do business. And those things are weaved into the core values that we have, and it's a policy within Element 47 that we're going to treat a client that's exiting the same way that we're going to treat somebody that walks in the door. And so I think that's a good consideration for anybody running a business. How do you handle those things? How do you handle the stressors, the inevitable chaos that comes up, the disruption, the things that are going to go wrong because they always will. And if you're defining those things up front, then everybody knows how to act. They know what expectations are. And when we're hiring people, we tell them this is what it looks like to work at Element 47, and these are what the expectations are going to be. So brand enables you to define all of these things up front and define expectations, and it really makes hiring a lot easier because you can tell people up front what the experience is going to be like. If you're honest with them, they're going to experience those things, and they're either going to find the best job they've ever had, or they're going to realize I need to get out of here quickly. So it's one of those things, and I get kind of philosophical about this, but it's just a great way of doing business because it forces you to look at all of the aspects of your business. I like to say your culture is your brand because it comes flowing through, and your clients and your vendors, your partners will experience those things as well. And so if you have them well defined and you manage by those, it comes shining through, and people will refer more business to you if you're treating them well and living up to expectations that you've established.
Yeah, and what's interesting is we talk all the time about the missional statement of power the good for cityCURRENT.
Yep.
But it's also, too, just like you're talking about, that's the through line for how we treat each other as teammates, how we interact with guests, like the energy we put out, always, how we deal with difficult circumstances. It's always power the good from a positive standpoint. And so, to me, everything you're talking about, it permeates and creates culture, just like we're talking about. And so when you're sitting down with clients or a prospect who, is looking to become a client, what are those conversations like? What are the things that you're starting to already kind of, just like you're talking about, look at that tie in branding and culture building and making sure that whether it's hiring, on the front end or the brand experience, all of those, how do you like to start creating that roadmap, that journey to success?
Well, most organizations have gotten to a certain point where they've grown through their relationships that they have, sheer force of will, if in a way of speaking, and they realize that they need to go to that next level. So they bring in a marketing agency, and they, in many cases, have not really done a deep dive into who they are and what value they bring to the world, and even to the idea of why do customers buy from you now? Why do they make the decision to use you versus the company across town? And what are your products and services? Why are people buying them? How do they fit in the market? Where are you better than your competitors? Where are they better than you? And then where do you want to go? What is the vision that you have for the future? And so if we can accurately identify all of those things, we give them the confidence that, yeah, okay, well, you've made us better in that regard. We now are, as a team, understand this and they can communicate it to their internal team so that everybody's pointed in the same direction. And again, back to that analogy, in a way, when you sign up, you talk to the salesperson, they're energetic and they're responsive, and then you get handed off to operations and you're like, what happened? This is a totally different experience than I just had. Well, you can avoid a lot of those things if you've got all those things written down, and the team, and especially the leaders within the team, make sure that those experiences translate into boots on the ground and the experience that the client has once they've signed up.
And I think this is very different than just an external, the visual side of branding, right? Like this conversation of what we're talking about and how it can be impactful for an organization, doing a deep dive, making sure that everything is aligned literally from every single touch point all the way through. And even like you mentioned, if something, if they exit, that they're treated with respect on the exit too. So it's like literally from exit ramp, on ramp, like everything in between, really doing a deep dive to make sure that everything is aligned and accomplishing the mission that you want to accomplish. And I think that's a very different approach, but also too a very powerful approach with what Element 47 brings to the table. So talk about for Element 47, where everyone can go to carry this conversation forward, to connect with you and your team, to start this process, this journey.
Yeah, you'll find us at element47.co. From there, you'll be able to see our social media and see what it looks like on a day-to-day basis at Element 47 through social media. And of course, I need to acknowledge too that a large part of our success has been being a partner with cityCURRENT. When I first sat down with Kelly to talk about being a partner, I had known Kelly for years before that conversation, and she told me about how great the culture was at cityCURRENT. And I thought, okay, well, I'm a pretty harsh judge of what that actually looks like. So I'll try it out and see what it feels like. And honestly, from day one, it was exactly the way she described it. So I know cityCURRENT does a great job and is really concerned and focused on making sure that shines through. So I can't say enough good about the partnership that we've had with cityCURRENT and the value that the fellow partners that I have been able to bring to my life. I've got great friends that are partners now. It's just one of the biggest movers for our business. So I would love to, and I tell folks this all the time too. If you have a marketing question, or maybe you're looking for somebody to help you out, I would be happy to talk to anybody. We're not the right fit for everyone, but I have good relationships with others in the industry, and I can help you find exactly who will be able to work with you and do a really good job as well.
Thank you for everything you do with Element 47. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the cityCURRENT Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.
We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good. And that's why we're honored to have with us John Wark, founder and CEO of Nashville Software School. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jeremy. Doing well, and appreciate the chance to be here and chat with you.
Well, when we talk about careers in technology, training, equipping, there's a lot to unpack. Let's go ahead and start. Give us some background, some history for launching Nashville Software School.
Yeah, we launched Nashville Software School in 2012, really trying to address sort of two things for organizations in Nashville. We've been hearing for years the big complaint, there's never enough tech talent. There's never enough tech talent. I've been in the tech industry since dinosaurs still roamed the earth, a long time. And, was kind of getting tired of hearing that, because it's like, look, we know how to grow talent. If we don't have enough, we know how to grow it, right? But it's like somebody needs to stand up and do it. And on the other hand, I felt there was plenty of latent tech talent in Nashville. There were plenty of people that had the aptitude to be a software developer or a data analyst or whatever, and that had motivation, that wanted a better career, right? I mean, including all of our musicians who'd spent their 8 to 10 years breaking their pick trying to get into the industry. And it's like, hey, I want to be able to afford a house someday or whatever, right? I mean, we have plenty of talent. So it was like the intersection of opportunity and some time for me. I'd kind of semi-retired, but I'd done 4 tech startups before. So there's a problem. Nobody's doing anything about it. My entrepreneurial spidey sense started to tingle. So we reached out to, I don't know, eight or 10 tech companies here in town, said, hey, here's a thought about one way we could pump more junior talent into the local job market. Would you guys be interested in, one, reviewing some curriculum, telling us what you think skills people need? And that, we've continued to do that ever since. We work with the employers to find out what skills and competencies they want in the people they graduate, right? Not some sort of pro forma degree program that isn't really aligned with the job market. So we, and then most of those employers said, yeah, we'd at least interview if you can, train some people according to this. So we did a pilot, started June of 2012. We graduated them late 2012, and 12 out of the 14 graduates had job offers by mid to late January. So it's like, it worked. Dogs ate the dog food. Well, what do I do? All right, let's do it again. So, and we've kind of ramped up from there. Our first program is our full stack web developer program or software developer program, which is still one of our 3 foundational programs, getting software developers into the marketplace. It was originally full-time only, 6 months. Then we started, I think, 2015, a part-time evening version for people that couldn't give up their day job. That lasts 12 months. And then in 2017, we launched our data science program. In 2018, we launched our data analytics program. And, and those are our 3 core programs. Today, we've had a couple of other ththings we've done. We had an IT infrastructure program we did for a while under grant funding from the state. And we had another program that we launched in collaboration with Amazon. But when the tech market kind of started, the hiring in the tech market started to really dry up late 2022, early 2023, Amazon stopped hiring any junior talent. We decided to put that program on the back burner because and we've cut back a little bit on the number of our students because we're trying to not oversaturate the market, but we're still graduating people. People are still getting placed. So we've now had almost 3,000 graduates from our programs. I think it's around 2,900. So certainly, I think the classes that'll finish up their work in December, graduate January, will put us, I think, comfortably over 3,000. We've historically run very high placement rates, which is really our metric for success. Up until the job market slowed down here 18 months ago or so, we had pretty much always run placement rates in the 86, 88% of graduates, up to 92 or 3% of graduates who got jobs after a reasonable job search period. So we're very proud of that. It means that most of the people that entrusted us with their potential career future did have success. They graduated. We graduate 90% plus or minus a few of everybody who starts, and we were placing 90% plus or minus a few of everybody who graduated. So all good. And about half of our students, part of our nonprofit mission is to lower the financial barriers, and we are a nonprofit. That's why we're here talking to you, I guess. Sorry, it's early. The obvious sort of escapes me sometimes. But we've had as part of our mission, our business model since we started, that about half of our students would get what we call opportunity tuition, which at the time we launched it was pretty unusual. It's basically small tuition deposit, then a scholarship, which historically we've funded 90% of those scholarships. We do these days get some grants that help us fund scholarships. And then the rest of the tuition, the bulk of the tuition, is deferred until the student graduates. If that student doesn't graduate, they don't owe us a penny. of that. We make our bet when we admit them, not later. It's not about butts and seats. But they still don't owe us after they graduate. They don't owe us until they've had a successful job search and gotten that first job. Now, yeah, there's some fine print and all of that stuff, but and that's been over the years, 45 to 50% of our students have gotten opportunity tuition, the bulk of which we finance out of cash flow, which is also our way of putting our money where our mouth is, right? We don't win if our students don't win. And an even higher percentage of our students get some form of scholarship support, even if we run out of opportunity tuition seats. I think it's around 70% of our students get some level of financial support from either a partial scholarship or the full deferred tuition, whatever. So, we're trying to remove financial blockers. We're also trying to provide a, kind of a second chance career training ground for people who maybe missed these tech career paths as they came out of high school, as they went to college, or did other things. And that includes a focus on people from groups that are underrepresented in tech.
John Warwick, founder and CEO, Nashville Software School. Thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for watching the City Current Show. To learn more about each of the guests, to share your stories of others, leading by example, or to watch past episodes and more media focused on good news, visit our website at citycurrent.com or follow along on social media using the handle or hashtag citycurrent. We look forward to seeing you again soon, and thank you for all you do to power the good.